So we're moving on into our calculus review, things that we did learn pre-COVID. This is the product rule. The product rule is how you find the derivative of function times function. We typically call those functions u and v. So what you see up here would be the product rule. And I write it even more shorthand than that. I like to say I just write u prime v plus uv prime. I don't even do the of x's. I just do u prime v plus uv prime. Be aware, the one that's in the reference sheet doesn't use the prime symbols. The one that's in the reference sheet uses the du dx symbols. So the reference sheet says the reference sheet says v times du dx plus u times dv dx, which is confusing.
Yeah.
So even though it's in the reference sheet, I suggest you just know it, because the one that's in the reference sheet is hard to look at. Now, I mentioned this yesterday when we were talking about the chain rule stuff. You see, right now, really the only stuff that you know how to work with is polynomial in nature. You don't know how to work with exponentials. You don't know how to do trig logarithms, trig derivatives, log derivatives. You don't know how to do those kinds of things yet. So because of that, we really are limited to doing, polynomial type stuff. So just go with it, okay? Going forward, we will be using this product rule often, but we'll be doing it with more advanced functions, and we'll be using the chain rule as well, okay? Alrighty, so if I said that f of x was 3x squared plus 2x to the 4th, would I use the product rule? Oh my gosh, no, I wouldn't. I would just combine that to say 6x to the 6th and say that the answer is 36x to the 5th. That's what I would do. But that's not what we're going to do. We know the answer is going to be 36x to the 5th. Instead, what we're going to do is demonstrate that the product rule is true by following it and then getting 36x to the 5th. Okay. So we are identifying u as 3x squared and v as 2x to the 4th. Then we find u prime. Very simple. Drop the 2 down, multiply it to the 3, and decrease the exponent by 1. So u prime is just 6x. V prime, also very simple. Bring the 4 down to the 2, multiply, 8, decrease the exponent by 1, x to the 3rd. And then we fill out u prime v plus uv prime. F prime of x equals u prime v plus u v prime. And then just multiply. Clean it up. 12x to the 5th plus 24x to the 5th, and oh look, 36x to the 5th. So yeah, the product rule works. Again, would I have ever used the product rule for something that simple? Oh my gosh, no, I would not. I mean, I also wouldn't use the product rule for this. I would call this x to the 3/2. So I know the answer is going to be what? X to the 3/2 should give me 3 over 2 root x. That should be the answer here. But I'm going to hopefully get 3 over 2 root x. No. 3 root x over 2, sorry. I'm hopefully going to get that by the product rule. No such as okay. So we'll say that u is the function x, very simple, and that v is the function x to the 1/2. Oh boy, u prime, so easy, a 1. Derivative of x is just 1. And v prime, well, this one's not quite as fun. Bring the 1/2 down to the front, and then at x, and decrease the exponent by 1. I'm not going to convert this to a fraction and radical yet. I'm going to go ahead and do this first and see if it simplifies to get rid of some of the fractions and radicals. Fingers crossed, because nobody likes to play with fractions and radicals. F prime of x equals u prime v plus u v prime. And clean it up. Okay, well that's just x to the 1/2 plus 1/2. This is x to the first. And I'm multiplying x to the first to x to the negative 1/2. You know, when you multiply two numbers of the same base, you just add their exponents. So the 1 and the negative 1/2 end up adding to a positive 1/2. And there is a coefficient sitting in front of this x, a 1. So I now have 1.5, or 3/2 of these things. I have 3/2 x to the 1/2, which is 3 root x over 2. Again, much more complicated to do it this way, but the point is, it works. Yeah.
She said, give me a second.
No, she said 1 second. She didn't say give me a second.
Oh.
Well, because they're both x to the 1/2, we can. It's like saying 1 box plus another half a box gave me 1.5 boxes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah. And don't worry, when you use your product rule, you won't use it for situations like this,
Yeah.
or even this, or even this, because this is easy to distribute. It's easier to distribute and find. But we're just demonstrating the product rule.
Yeah.
Now, things like these down here, you would use your product rule, because who's trying to use binomial expansion on this? You know, no one, exactly.
Did you put that in radical form too?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Silly Willy.
The nice thing about these derivatives, though, on the IB exam, and even the test that I'm going to give you, is you don't have to convert them back to radicals unless you want to.
Okay.
And unless you're told to have it written in a specific type of way, you write it however you want. You don't have to simplify it. And again, the only reason why I would simplify is if it's going to simplify to something pretty, which is rare, or if I have to plug a number in, I kind of want to clean it up just to make my life easier.
Okay.
There's nothing new. We're just gonna keep doing it. This is it. These are the notes. It's just this one side. We're just gonna keep it up. Where u is, I'm gonna say x to the 1/2 instead of root x, and v is x plus 1. I don't even think I'm gonna clean this one up, to be honest with you. I don't feel like it. U prime is 1/2 x to the negative 1/2, because we're drop the 1/2 down and then decrease it by 1. V prime is easy peasy. A 1. There. Cool. And now we're just going to fill out, since we can't see the top of my notes, I'm going to write the formula again. U prime v plus uv prime. I mean, you can see the top of yours, but if someone's watching the video, assuming that the camera doesn't delete it like it did last period, let's fill it out. U prime v plus u v prime. I guess it wouldn't be that bad to clean it up, would it? Here, when you distribute, you're going to get 1/2 x to the positive 1/2, because negative 1/2 plus 1. And then plus 1/2 x to the negative 1/2, plus another x to the 1/2. I mean, I guess we could clean this up. It's not too bad. Here's a half of a root x, and here's a whole root x. So that's another 3/2 root x. So that's 3/2 x to the 1/2 plus 1/2 x to the 1/2, and we can convert those both to square root bars if we want to. I'm just going to leave it like that because you get the idea.
Wait, would it be, for the 3/2x, would it just be 3 times the square root of x over 2?
Yes, it'd be 3 root x over 2, just like it was up the question before. And this would be 1 over 2 root x.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. 'Cause that actually
All right, well, I mean, if we said it, we might as well write it. 3 root x over 2 plus 1 over 2 root x. There you go.
Just simplifies it like this, so
Well, here's the thing. If you had to plug in a number, you'd want it to look like that, wouldn't you?
yeah.
Like an x equals 4 or an x equals 9. Because you could do that by hand, whereas trying to do this with a number would kind of be a nightmare. I mean, it's hard to think about fractional exponents sometimes. And this next one, again, I would never use the product rule for this. I would just distribute and get 6x squared minus 2x. The derivative is going to be 12x minus 2. But we're practicing the product rule, so let's say go. So u is 2x and v is 3x minus 1. Yeah. Oh, he's not asking a question. He's just stretching. U prime is 2. V prime is 3. Well, at least the equations are easy, right? It won't be too difficult to fill it out. All right. I'm sorry? Oh, I thought you said I seemed big time rushed, and I was like, really? I didn't feel like I was going fast.
I'd probably faint. I'd have like an aneurysm.
U prime v plus u v prime. 6x minus 2 plus 6x, as promised, 12x minus 2.
Easy.
Yes. And as usual, we save the best for last.
Wait, what? Wait.
I didn't start writing yet. Put my pen down. Call myself.
Wait, couldn't you just distribute and then just do like the spot derivative?
This guy.
Exactly.
This guy. I already said normally I would just distribute, and I said your answer will be 12x minus 2.
Good, because I did it in my head and I was like, wait a minute.
The point was we were demonstrating how to use the product rule.
Hey,
Because you don't have the skill set yet to do other things.
You're right.
No, because the other derivatives we quote unquote have not learned how to do
I
them
was
yet.
just joking. Not about me being incompetent though. That wasn't good.
So these last two, these are the only two on the whole sheet that I would use the product rule for, because again, I don't want to do binomial expansion and then distribution. I mean, I could. I don't want to. I don't know what would be any faster. But I feel like the product rule is less of a pain in the butt. And if we use the product rule, we get a chance to practice our chain rule. Yay! Because look, this is a function inside of a structure. This is a function inside of a structure. So we have a chain rule going on for both of them, where u is x to the 1/2 and v is quantity 2x plus 1 cubed. U prime is simple enough. I'm scooting over just to make sure I have some horizontal space. U prime is just going to be
These must get really long.
1/2 x to the negative 1/2. Well, because they get as lengthy as they do with so many terms, I'm not going to clean it up.
Yeah.
We're just going to put together the product rule and call it a day. And v prime is going to require our chain rule. So remember, outside in. So we take the derivative of the outside structure first, which is something to the third power. That brings a 3 down to the front without touching the inside. Uh-oh, I'm still going to spill over into question B. Sorry, B. And now we multiply by the derivative of the inside. Just times 2. I am going to call this 6 times 2x plus 1 squared. I don't have a problem multiplying 2 and 3. That's pretty easy. But now we have to fill out our product rule, u prime v plus uv prime. Yuck. Here we go. F prime of x equals u prime v. There's u prime v plus uv prime. And legitimately, the only thing I'm going to do to clean this up is I'm going to put the 6 in front of that x to the 1/2. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not even going to bother with the radicals unless you want me to.
No.
Well, screw it. Let's just go ahead and do it.
I kind of
Yeah, it's not like it's hard. 2x plus 1 to the 3rd over 2 root x. And then this one, I'm just going to put the 6 in front of the x to the 1/2, which is square root of x. So I have 6 root x times 2x plus 1 squared. There.
What happens? Or 1/2 in front of.
It's right here. 1, 2.
Oh.
But since this x has a negative exponent, it went down there with the 2.
Okay.
Something I can help you with, Joseph? You look like you're straining.
I don't know why this part is like so hard for me right now.
I keep missing parts of the math. It's like that.
Yeah.
Is it the simplifying part or the filling out the formula part that's getting you?
This simplifying. I'm fucking.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I'm
So,
just, like, trying to
is it this
visualize
part?
it.
Julia.
Yeah, I can get to
Yeah.
it, just not like immediately. So I'm like,
Yeah.
and now I
See your
understand.
practice?
Yes.
What?
For me as well.
Yeah, but I mean, we're getting there though, right?
So the 2 is because 1/2 is split.
Yeah, no, it's not even flip 1/2. Okay, look. This right here says 1/2 times, think of this term right here saying 1/2 times 1 over x to the positive 1/2.
Oh, okay.
Because it's got a negative exponent. All right, and I don't know if I'm going to have the space to fit all of part B on here, but I am going to do my best. Oh, you wrote really large, did you?
We definitely could fit it.
So u is x, whoop, I forgot to write equals. U equals x squared, and v, once again, we're going to require a chain rule when we find v prime, is x squared minus 2x the 4th. Hey, at least there won't be any radicals this time, right? Scoot over. U prime is, yeah, go for it. Yeah, if you want to do it on your own, that's fine. I'm going to pause the video, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hit the red button, which means the video continued to record. I did it correct this time. Alrighty, so u prime is going to be 2x, and v prime is going to require a chain rule. First thing we're going to do is bring our 4 down to the front. We won't touch the inside. Drop the exponent down by 1. And now get skinny math. We're going to squeeze the derivative of the inside right there. And the derivative of x squared minus 2x is 2x minus 2. Now, could we distribute the 4 into here and call it 8x minus 8? We could. I don't think it's worth it though. I'm just gonna go ahead and find my derivative, and you know what? I'm gonna write it down here because I have horizontal space down here. So f prime of x is u prime v. Oops. U prime v plus u v prime. Oh gosh. Get skinny math.
Well, I forgot that brackets were a thing. I don't know why I did use brackets. I use double parentheses.
Because you're extra, Gavin. That's why.
Because I'm just. No, they're gone. This is retarded.
This is as pretty as this is going to get.
Yeah, I do. Me. Okay, let's see if I simplify it.
I'm sorry? The what? Oh, thank you. There we go. That's it. Now let's see if the notes will stop without throwing an error code.